anyone who's doing MBA and things like I want to do performance marketing, what are the things that they are getting into and what is it that they will experience?
Two things. So there is creative, there is data. I think two pieces are very, very critical. Both data and creative has to go hand in hand if you have to deliver something great in your marketing campaign.
Viewers who are maybe in their last year of their college and are still trying to figure out what is it that they are supposed to do with their life, and if they feel like performance marketing might be their cup of tea, what would be your step-by-step guide towards this?
If I have to just simplify this process, if I would like to be a performance marketer, one very important piece to becoming a performance marketer is
If you want to get started, just have that attitude to learn anything and everything. I had read somewhere like one person was interviewing engineers and one engineer had written one keyword and he got selected just by writing that keyword on that resume, and that skill was. Hello everyone, my name is Poojan Ajani and welcome to Strique Talks. Today we have a very special guest with us, Sandesh Gupta. Thank you, Sandesh, for joining in.
thanks, Poojan.
Sandesh is a very good friend of mine and he has over 12 years of experience in building businesses from 0 to 1. He has worked with various international brands like Wakefit and MPL. He has also experience in founding its own startup and as well as taking the performance marketing and growth of multiple brands across the agency business. He has worked with 80 plus brands, is it correct?
Yeah.
80 plus brands and across all the industries. That
Yes.
includes D2C, lead generation, app installs,
True.
and all of those things. So yeah, it's really nice to have you on this conversation. Thanks for joining in.
Sure. Thanks, Poojan.
Yeah.
Great to have here.
So Sandesh, you did your engineering from IIT Roorkee, is it correct?
That's correct.
And how did you transition from the engineering role to a marketing role? Like, what was your thought behind it, and how did you decide to pursue this career?
Yeah, I think very interesting question. Like back in college, I have never expected or never thought of being into a marketing thing. And again, if you will see that I have not done MBA, right?
Mhm.
So people found it also very interesting that there is a marketing person who has not done an MBA and directly coming from an engineering background. So it's tough, but I think it was written somewhere that I have to be in this place. So I think I am here. But from the journey perspective, I would say that like even in the college, you don't know that you're doing a marketing, but I think I was actively playing that role, being a part of lot of festivals, lot of tech fest, cultural fest, and doing those kind of SMSs, emails, and all those things, which back then you never know, that is marketing, right?
Exactly.
But and collecting the databases and everything, going to even offline marketing, like going to the roads, streets, and everything, putting posters, pamphlets,
Getting the sponsorships.
getting sponsorship from the shops and all those
Exactly.
things, right? So
Yeah.
back then you never know that it is marketing, but I think I have done that role previously. But when I was doing the software thing, I was not getting that kind of a kick. And in my short stint of that entrepreneur journey, I was leading the growth charter for my company. And I think that has given me a good hands-on experience and some kick that this is something that I would like to pursue. But again, I think, as I said, it was not easy because even you have done some hands-on back then, there were very limited opportunities for those. But again, I think I was fortunate enough to landed in an agency where I groomed further myself, and now I'm sitting here in front of you as a professional marketer, which can help
As an
other
expert,
companies.
is how I would put it.
Expert, again, I cannot say myself because it's very
No, yeah.
evolving
Yeah.
field. But yes, whatever I can have learned so far can help the brands and the thing to
Yeah.
grow in that
So,
phase.
just to add to that, I am also an engineer.
Yes.
I also did my engineering in IT from Gujarat.
Yes.
And, like most of my friends, when they graduated, they had zero clue on
True.
what is it that they want to do with their life. Like
Yeah.
some of them are into finance now, some of them are into marketing,
Yes.
some of them started their own YouTube channel and doing XYZ things.
Yes.
And what I saw in the last 5 years as an entrepreneur, while I dealt with so many people into performance marketing and all of those things, is that I saw that anyone who has done engineering, who has given the JE, who has been through that stress, they can easily cope up to the numbers or the analytical part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
When they see the data, they can actually start making sense out of it.
Yes. So
And-
numbers are always like
Yeah.
a favorite for the engineers, right? So
Exactly.
wherever there is numbers, analytics involved, I think people, mostly engineers, love to solve that thing. And performance marketing gives you that kind of flavor,
Exactly.
right? Where you
Yeah.
see things. I think backstage also we were just discussing, right? That two things that performance marketing generally or growth marketing generally gives to you, right? One is numbers, right? You solve for data and everything. And second is more about seeing things in real time, right? That
Exactly.
okay, something you have done, and you can see the result, coming then and there, right?
Mm.
So that kind of kick that you get, right, on that particular day, or on a daily basis also you're doing, getting this, I think generally helps you keeping motivated yourself, that you have to show yourself another day for doing
Exactly.
something again great. So I think these are the two things that still keeping me motivated, that I have to deliver something more exciting, more engaging,
Yeah,
giving us more
and
outcome.
I think there is some false notion out there that the idea of performance marketing has to do much with the marketing, and engineer or an analyst is not supposed to be a part of it. But that's far from the reality. Like a business analyst would be a perfect fit for a performance marketer because they can actually understand the data.
That's
So
true.
they are not only just targeting the right audience, but when they look at the data, they look at the analytics, they see that okay, this is my target audience, these are the segments of the user group that are actually making the purchase. Let's analyze their buying pattern, and all of those things, they are not just part of marketing but a holistic approach that is important.
Yes,
So if,
yes.
if anyone who's doing MBA and things like okay, I want to do performance marketing, they should be aware like what are the things that they are getting
Yeah.
into and what is it that they will experience.
Two things, I think, if you're looking, so generally now I think the role has shifted more from performance or marketing to a growth role,
Hmm.
right? People think that okay, this is a person who can bring growth, and
Hmm.
growth basically means that either it can be your new user acquisition, or either you
Hmm.
can retain users,
Yeah.
right? So this is combining, and the charter has now become growth
Hmm.
as a function, right? And there I think the responsibility, I think, is, so when I'm saying growth, I think it's a part of multiple things now, right? So there is creative, there is content, there is data, right? And these, I think, two pieces are very very critical, right? So if someone who is just thinking about that, okay, I can go and just do content and creative without looking into data, that is not there now,
That
right?
isn't
Because
happening.
even
Yeah.
if you're looking for a brand marketing kind of a role, there also all the channels now have a good amount of data that you would like to analyze and see how you can evolve it further. So I think it has given now that both data and creative has to go hand in hand if you have to deliver something great in your marketing campaign.
So Sandesh, like you mentioned that performance marketing is really exciting role, and
Hmm.
the things that you do on day-to-day basis, they are not mundane and not something which are boring in nature.
Yeah.
Because looking at data, it's exciting when you see it on real time, and you see that your efforts are bringing in results live as you speak, right?
True.
So this question is for all the viewers who are maybe in their last year of their college and are still trying to figure out what is it that they are supposed to do with their life, and if they feel like performance marketing might be their cup of tea, how is it that they should get started in this field? Like what would be your step by step guide towards this?
I think uh, current scenario, I think it has become quite easy now,
Mm-hmm.
because we are in an era where a lot of content has already been created to learn such things, and the content is also available free,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's more about your intent now to go and consume that content, right? So if I have to just simplify this process, that if I would like to be a performance marketer, how I can become that is basically simple, and in 3-4 steps you can easily crack that. One first very important piece to becoming a performance marketer is you have to understand MS Excel or
Exactly.
Google Sheet, right?
Yeah.
So you have to know. I'm not saying that you have to become a very professional over there, but even an intermediate knowledge of MS Excel and Google Sheet is very very important.
How would you define, like what are the things that would define as an intermediate? Like something like someone who knows VLOOKUPs,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
would
think
that be an
yes, yes,
intermediate?
yes.
Yeah.
I think VLOOKUPs is very, very important. I
Hmm.
think one is you should not fear seeing data. That is
Exactly.
very
Yeah.
important, because I think if I'm saying intermediate,
Hmm.
because I have seen a lot of people when they are seeing multiple rows of data, they are just like, what is this? I cannot, right?
Yeah.
So remove that fear,
Hmm.
because there are tools and which can help you in streamlining the data.
Hmm.
So remove that fear, right? Even your Excel file is, let's say, in MBs, it's okay, right? You can still consume it,
Hmm.
because these are some critical things that I've seen in
Yeah.
person, that when I'm giving data crunching to someone, and it's in MB, he's like, it is not opening. I was like, wait, patient, it will open,
Have
right?
patience. Yeah.
Yes. So you don't fear with data,
Hmm.
right? Even whatever be the data is, there are tools, and I think these are like MS Excel and Google Sheets are the tool which will help in crunching those, big databases and everything, right?
Yeah.
So don't have a fear. Second is, yes, you should have understanding about VLOOKUPs. You should have understanding about pivots. You should have understanding about how to create a charts. I think generally, for your own consumption, it is fine that you're looking into tables. But if you have to step up and if you have to grow in that role, you also know how to, present in a story or in a narrative format, because leadership generally would like to understand a very short, generally we say TLDR kind of a thing, that okay, I have just 2 minutes, tell me what has happened, right? And if you're showing them all these tables, numbers going here and there, they will get confused, right? So you need to understand how you can present it in a way, right? And that generally happens if you have good understanding of creating or narrating that data by beautiful charts and pivots and everything, right? So I think that is, for me, is the intermediate level where you don't have a fear with data and you are quite confident and comfortable dealing with whatever amount of data you are getting. That is one. Although you will always have a supporting hand with your analytics team, but as a performance marketer, if you would like to grow, you also have that hands-on understanding how you can build that. Like, let's say if there is no support, you need to do that, right? That is one. Second, again, I will not suggest to go and do some kind of a digital marketing course, because there are a lot of
Exactly.
things going on, right?
Yeah.
You can pay from 50K to 5 lakh kind of a, you can subscribe for that kind of a courses also, but I'm not suggesting that, right? As
Even I don't
mentioned,
suggest
yeah,
that. Yeah,
because there
exactly.
is a lot of content already available free, right? For me, I think whenever people approach me that, okay, yesterday only I think someone approached me talking about that, hey, I am in Ahmedabad, and there are very limited people who can run meta campaigns, and this is like one of my ex agency colleague, and she is now running an agency for content and creative. But again, I think in social media, client wants that, okay, you're doing content and creative, why can't you just promote little bit on social media as well, right? And the budgets anyways will be very very small, and
Yeah.
on a smaller amount, and hiring for that or maybe freelancing for that is doesn't make sense, right? So, and it's very easy to learn, right? And you have to just go to the tools only, like Meta and Google, and they have good encyclopedia where you can just go and learn, right? So I just shared one link, because most of the time you don't know where exactly I have to start, right? And you were like, okay, I need to run Meta ad, where I have to go? You have to go to Meta, right? Because
Exactly.
they have created that kind of a encyclopedia or that kind of a learn database where you can just go and just start consuming that
I think
content.
it's called Meta Blueprint.
Meta Blueprint,
Yes.
yes. There is certification, and before that certification, also there are some basics courses where you can just go, and I think it comes with Meta Learn kind of a repository where you can just go and start learning about that. And same with Google. Google also provide you all the certification, and the good part is all the basic and the intermediary content are also free,
Yeah.
right? And you have to just go over there and follow the step one by one. I think this is for me the second thing. Third thing is more about organic business, because when you're looking for a growth, as I mentioned, it involves both paid and organic part. And organic is a very different thing, right? So SEO, ASO, you have to again learn, right? And I
Exactly.
would suggest follow any edtech platform, right? Maybe Coursera, maybe Upgrade, and just follow their again free content, right? That is enough to start your journey, right? So I think
Exactly.
holistically, you have to define data, paid, and organic. These are the three steps, right? And you have to just go to that respective tool, look for their repository, and I think it's done.
I have a slightly different
Okay.
approach to the ones that you mentioned. The first point being the data crunching and all of those things. I think those skills are necessary,
True.
but with help of Strike, you don't need that. So
True.
all of those crunching, the ability to show certain data to anyone, we have everything in place. If you don't know what
Yes.
data is, just click on AI summary. It will show you everything and anything, and that is what is needed to
No,
show to the
definitely.
stakeholders,
No,
right?
definitely. I think the
Yeah,
tools now are helping a lot over there
exactly.
as well with the involvement of AI, and I think what Strike is also doing in that era. But I think one thing is that just having that understanding is important,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
These tools are just there to support you and to make your life easy, because then you can focus on something more functional rather than more operational, right?
Exactly.
So if you're already getting, with the help of Strike and all, right, already getting that crunch data, right? You don't need to put your brain that, okay, what kind of VLOOKUP I have to do, right? Or what kind of
Pivot
why it
tables
is
I have
not
to make.
working.
What are
Yeah,
the
yeah,
charts
what?
that I have to
Yes,
make?
yes,
What is it
yes,
that I'm supposed to make sense out
yes,
of
yes,
this?
yes,
Which platform am I
yes,
supposed to go over
yes.
there?
But
Yeah,
still, right, if you have that functional knowledge, like that operational knowledge, that also helps in some way,
that helps
right? Because
definitely.
sometime, because these are tools, right? And uh, 1% of the time there is a chance that, because of something, because obviously we are in a tech world, right? Even there is a downtime with Facebook, there is a
Yeah.
downtime with, every other platform, right? So in that case, right, if there is a scenario, right, that you have to create something on your own, so you need to have that knowledge, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But yes, definitely the way these tools are coming, like Strique and all, are definitely solving that bigger problem of crunching the data and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And coming back to my second point is that if you want to get started, just have that attitude to learn
True.
anything and everything.
Yeah.
Like I had read somewhere like one person was interviewing engineers, and one engineer had written one keyword, and he got selected just by writing that keyword on that resume.
Okay.
And that keyword was under the skills tab, and that skill was Googling.
Okay.
So I
No,
can
true.
Google stuff. If you
Yes.
give me anything, you can. If you give me like what is attribution delay, let me Google it. Let me read 3 articles, watch 2 YouTube videos, and I will give you with a precise
Yes.
answer on what exactly is.
Yes.
So instead of just going out there saying that I don't know what is attribution delay or what are attribution models or what is attribution window or even anything into attribution, I just have to go out there, have that attitude that okay, I need to at least Google stuff, maybe go to Stack Overflow, maybe go to different Reddit forums, or maybe have a look at someone's LinkedIn page where they have written an article about it or a blog post on Medium. Those are the things that will actually help me get out there. At first maybe you might not able to understand what are
Right.
the things because they might reference to some other words
Yeah.
or terminologies including
Yes.
UTM parameters, and you might
Yes,
like what
yes.
are UTM parameters, then they say those are query parameters.
True.
Then you have to think what are query parameters. So all of those, that goes like a chain.
Link. Yes.
Yes, so that linking needs to be there. Like you
Yes.
need to have 2 cups of coffee, sit around, and then just do the googling
True.
stuff.
True. I think just to
Yeah.
summarize, if I think the way we have discussed, I think one word came in my mind, that if you are a problem solver,
Exactly, problem solver.
you can become a performance marketer.
Yeah,
Because I think
that's
performance marketer life is just solving the problems, right? It
exactly.
can be anything.
It
So
could be anything.
even I think for me it's the same thing, right? Today also, like whenever something comes up, it's more about solving that problem, right? So if you have ever done that in your life, in the sense that in your education, like in your graduation and whatever, right? If you are if you have that kind of a intent of solving problem, I think you are there for performance marketing. So
Exactly.
I
That's a
think
good
we can
rule. Yeah.
summarize with that one word.
Problem solvers.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sandesh, coming back to next question, which is what's your take on AI's role in performance marketing?
I think again, I think we have touched upon briefly this thing, but if I have to go little broader in this particular piece, uh, both the things in data as well as in content and creative, AI is helping a lot, right? Uh, Having said that, let me first touch upon the content creative part, right? Uh, Before, I think whenever you have to think about creating anything, right, you have to invest a lot in terms of shooting and booking and looking for right set of people to shoot that video, even creating that script and all those things. So I think and on the content side, right, when you're looking for SEO or ASO, now the way you are creating content is little more faster, and you're getting a lot of content that you can build very easily with the involvement of the AI tools, right? Be it ChatGPT, be it different other tools that are there, right? I think on the content creative perspective, the biggest problem that it has solved right now is the turnaround time, right? That previously it was taking a lot of time to get that kind of a content and creative. Now with the help of AI and with the help of all these tools, things are getting faster,
Exactly.
right? And your turnaround time has very it has reduced a lot, right? Which has basically helped you in experimenting a lot, right? Because previously what was the situation is that if you have a video, let's say video creation itself is taking some 10-15 days,
Exactly.
and by that time you have left with very limited time to experiment anything. But now you can experiment a lot, you can test out quickly, okay, what is working, what is not working, okay, this is working, okay, can I make this minor change with the help of AI quickly, and then again test it out, and maybe my CTRs can become more better, right? My click to install become more better on, let's say, on a landing page and all those things, right? So I think those things are right now helping a lot in terms of creation. And specifically if I have to talk, right, for example, one more interesting use case that I've seen very recently is, let's say I take care of the US MPL US, right? and there we have a lot of ethnicity, right? Like Afro-Americans, Hispanic or Spanish people, Asian people, right? And there is always a different way of communicating lines, right? Like
Yeah.
they have a different dialect, right? So Afro-American has a different dialect, Spanish, and sometimes if you have to go a little more like looking for more Spanish content rather than not more English content,
Mm-hmm.
and if you do dove something, right, all these things are very much easily possible with the help of AI, right?
Exactly.
So the
Yes.
tools that you're using now, the same content, you can dove it in that, you can change the dialect of those lines and everything, so that people can relate to those things and they can understand, okay, this is something, more uh, similar to me, and you can see that performance coming out of your creatives and your campaigns quite well. I think this was taking a lot of time before and was
Mm-hmm.
not possible also to do, a lot of changes quickly. But now I think all these changes are also very helping a lot, basically.
Yeah.
Sure. So I think this is majorly my experience with the content and creative piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it comes to the data part, I think there I have seen, I think, a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a gap in the industry where you have to do a lot of things manually. But I think with the help of tools like Strique and all, right, all this data crunching and things are happening very seamlessly without, like, you are getting, let's say, a summarized view, a unified view of what has happened yesterday, right? You don't need to, put someone creating those views now, right? And you can start your day by just analyzing the data from
Mm-hmm.
like the very first second you are logging in, basically, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That is, I think is a big game changer. What I've seen in general, right? And I think a lot of tools, like even from the Google side, right? Even from the Meta side, right? A lot of tools are, because they are also getting that kind of an advancement where they're
Mm-hmm.
bringing that kind of a AI thing in running the campaigns, where you as a marketer, obviously, like, you cannot give that full control that you can change it, but you can analyze that, okay, what suggestion you're getting in terms of optimizing your campaigns,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think these three things are, I think two things are completely solved, which is, I think, one is content and
Mm-hmm.
creation and the creative part of the things. Second, I think, is more about the data crunching and all. Third, where it comes about optimization of the campaign, there I've seen, I think, still little human touch
Intervention. Yeah.
is important, because
Yeah.
ultimately AI is a tool, is a machine, right? And you as a person have more understanding about your business, that what you want, right? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
your objective could be different and the tool is suggesting you with respect to your objective, but the end objective might be little more different compared to what objective you have set in your running the
Mm-hmm.
campaign. So hence I think, get those suggestions. If you feel that, okay, these suggestions are making sense, make that change. Otherwise you can ignore that and continue whatever you are doing. So I think this is again little tricky when it comes to optimization, but I think two things are completely solved, which is more about content creation and the data crunching part.
So just to add to what you said, like let's talk about first part, which is the content part, right? Just to educate my viewers very fast. In terms of content, if you're talking about text, for text you have ChatGPT. If you are using ChatGPT and you are saying that give me ad copy for
Yeah.
this, it will give you some unusable ad copy because it does not have that enough context.
Right.
So if you are just trying to experiment, and you as a marketer, if you are facing trouble in writing the ad copies, just do one thing: buy the premium version of ChatGPT, upload all the documents about the brand and everything onto your ChatGPT Plus, create your own GPT, select a proper pre-prompt.
Hmm.
Pre-prompt is basically conditioning the ChatGPT to give you certain
Certain.
specific type of answers,
Right.
right? You are supposed to tell them that you want the ad copies that give you high CTR, that have this specific offer, and the
Some
tonality, yeah,
keywords.
some
Yeah.
keywords, and you're supposed to tell them like this is my target audience.
True.
So the content needs to be in that specific page. So the ad copies that you might get might be better as
Yeah.
compared to what you were getting earlier.
Yes.
That's first point. Second comes to creatives. So in creatives, there are majorly two companies is what I know. The one is the Mid Journey,
Mid journey.
and the other is Stability.ai, which
Yes.
is with their product is Stable Diffusion.
Yes.
So all of those things they have gotten really good as compared to what they were
Yeah.
around 1.5 years back,
True. True.
right?
Yeah.
So all the creatives and the statics can be generated from them.
Hmm.
So if I have to give you a real live example, Siddharth from our team, when he makes creatives for performance marketing for our Strike team,
Yes.
he goes to Midjourney. He gives the prompt saying that these are the type of creatives that I want, and then he sends those to the design team saying that give me this type of
Yes.
creative.
Yes. Very true.
So
Same,
that-
I think we are doing also.
Exactly.
And following the same, I think, playbook
Yeah.
to get the creative things and ChatGPT to, create the content part of the
Yes,
things. So,
and,
yes.
and when next it comes to video,
Yeah.
so in video there is Sora, which is provided by ChatGPT,
Right.
but it struggles to get certain details of the physics, so it is not there yet. But recently Google has launched something called as VUE or
View.
something,
Yeah,
View
yeah.
2, which it was actually as of recording today, it was a video was launched by Marcus Brownlee, which is MKBHD. He's a very famous YouTuber. He had earlier access to early access of Google's View 2, and he said that the physics part has been nailed down by Google well,
Awesome.
and it is way better than Sora.
This is
And
something new
yes,
to me
exactly.
also. Yes, I will definitely.
So this is a 12-hour
Yeah.
ago. This information was recently released,
Got it.
and the videos that were churned out by Google's AI engine were way better than Sora's, and virtually
awesome.
indistinguishable between the real and the fake videos.
That's
So yeah, in a year or two, maybe we might be
Yeah.
able to have AI agents who are specialized to create some sort of specific videos in specific format with specific background music, whose sole purpose is just to get the more CTR and more link clicks to
Yes,
increase
yes.
your revenue.
Yes.
So maybe in terms of videos, when in 1.5 years, we'll be there.
Yes, definitely.
So that was about the content part. In terms of data part, again, there are various tools that we have. So ChatGPT again works when you upload all the data,
True.
but it does not give you specific information, and
Right.
that is because of a condition called as hallucination. So when you start providing more and more data to LLMs, they start to hallucinate. So there are various techniques on how you can control the hallucination. And if you don't want to learn those techniques, just use Strique AI, because we have optimized our prompts for the specific problem statements that are there. So if I have to give you an example, right? If you are, let's say, using Google Analytics and you are using a widget of saying age and gender analytics, where you are seeing the data for all the age range, age groups and their genders, right? And you are looking at the session data. Now, someone, let's say, who doesn't have enough experience, they might think that, okay, I'm getting most traffic from 18 to 25 males. That is my target audience. But that might not be the case, because that's the targeting that you have set up on your Facebook ads or your Meta ads.
Yeah.
So only the ad is shown to those people, and they are clicking and they are coming into it. So the interpretation is wrong. So you, instead of looking at the sessions, you maybe need to look at people who have filled up the form or submitted a lead or made a purchase, and then you need to look out that data.
True.
So that filtering part needs to be there.
Yeah.
So all of that has been taken care by Strique AI. So it basically drills down to various widgets. So let's say that if your top performing city is Mumbai, but your worst performing state is Maharashtra, then it will ask you to optimize the campaigns
for
based on the cities which it is performing really good, but not the entire state.
Right.
So those are some of the things that we have actually fine tuned, and those are regardless of the business objective.
No, definitely. I think demographics, behavioral, aspects are very, very important for running any marketing campaign.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Be it gender, age, be it location, be it there any like some attributes with respect to their household income, some attributes with respect to their kind of intent or the interest that they have, always helps in terms of fine tuning your campaign or optimizing your campaign.
Exactly.
Right? So I think the way you have mentioned about going deeper, I think same thing. If I just to have an example, right? Wakefit, when I was a part of Wakefit, right, we were like, I think we are delivering to across pan India. But when you as a marketer has to, deliver ROI, you have to start looking those things that, okay, in the same budget, how I can max out my revenue, right? And the same approach I have taken, right? I have, obviously back then it was very limited AI, but I have done it manually to look into that, okay, what kind of locations are giving me the good outcome, the good revenue, right? And rather than running a pan India campaign or a state level campaign, I have created a city specific campaigns, right? That has given, that was a completely game changer for us, right? So when we were more focused, and I think the idea was very simple that, okay, you can go to Google, you can see that, okay, what is the search impression you are getting, let's say for a particular, and I think same approach I've taken, the point you have mentioned, that irrespective of the clicks or the sessions I'm getting, where I'm getting the more revenue or the more
Exactly.
purchases, right?
Yes.
So we've started from there, right? And then correlate that data with respect to the searches and the clicks that I'm getting,
Exactly.
right? So what we have seen that with the help of obviously the search impression share and everything that Google gives you, you can again anticipate that okay, you are right now in Delhi with just 60% impression share, right? And there is a room to grow it further 30-40% because max you can go on Google, let's say around 85-90% of search impression shares, right? So you are like losing that big opportunity. There is a big opportunity available over there, right? So when you have done all that analysis and you figured out that okay, wherever the money was going, right? Ideally, it should not go there, and you can save that cost and put something more on those location. One interesting point came that okay, generally that okay, online business tier one, it will work like cities like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, all these. I think generally you will get a good audiences over there, and the business again the purchases will be more in these locations, right? Interestingly, Hyderabad again obviously you will put in your bucket because that is also like a tier one kind of a city. Interestingly, we found that entire Andhra Pradesh was also giving us good results, right? And some other locations as well, like Maharashtra and all. So then, rather creating a city specific, you can also go like let's say for something like state specific, which again you were not focusing previously,
Yeah.
right? So those locations I think then play a pivotal role where you can say that okay, I found something interesting in data, and again I found that searches are also there, and but my search impressions are very less because I'm not focusing over there. So I think now, and we did that very manually. Now I think with the tools, I think the tools like Strique and all, when you already have that mechanism available to get that data, I think that will definitely going to solve that problem of marketers.
Coming to the next question,
Yes.
which is that you do the entire growth marketing for the multiple brands, right? Now let's say if you are given the budget of $1 million, right, over a span of 1 year, and you are asked to bifurcate it into different sections. So let's say that is paid media, then you have SEO, email marketing, PR, influencer marketing, and the other content marketing podcast like this. How would you arrange that, and what is the most important thing a business should focus on?
Sure. I think there is it's not a very straightforward answer.
So let's make it a
Yes.
very straightforward answer. Let's
Huh.
drill down to certain things and remove the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
abstractions. The
Yes, yes.
brand that is working on is a D2C brand,
Okay.
and their goal is to get more and more revenue out of it. Yeah.
Sure. I think the straightforward when I mentioned it's more about the journey of the brand. Okay. So I can again give the answer, but it's more about where you are in the sense that either you are doing 0 to 1 or you are doing 1 to 10.
Let's say they are doing 0 to 1.
So
They're
0 to
starting
1,
fresh.
yes, yes. So whenever like if there is a new brand coming into the market, first and foremost, I think they should focus roughly 60-70% of their budget, whatever they have, right? Primarily into the search marketing, paid marketing, which I mentioned, right? Search and meta both, but more towards the bottom of the funnel of the campaigns, which is either getting a purchase or getting an install, right? So because primarily then see for doing anything you need some data to also
Yeah.
like a first party data to understand whether this is a product market fit or not, right? And to build that obviously you need to get those kind of a right set of users to understand whether this is the right set of users, like that okay this is the right set of user, but ultimately whether they're using the product or not, right?
Okay.
That define that this is the right set of user, right? So this playbook is simple for a 0 to 1. Put something like 60-70% budget for optimizing on the bottom of the funnel, primarily on your Google and Meta. And again, there is a catch in the sense that you also need to have your average transaction value in mind, in the sense that if your ATVs, right, is on a lower side, then generally I've seen that Facebook generally helps you in getting the even the conversions, right? But if let's say your ATVs are like 10,000 plus or let's say 15,000 plus,
High ticket
right?
items. Yeah.
High ticket items, then generally you might not see Facebook or Meta giving you the direct end conversions, but it will help you in the retargeting funnel, right? That who has seen something on Google or done some kind of research. If you're retargeting on Meta, then it will help, right? So there is only one simple catch, and you can define your like the composition of your budget between Google and Meta accordingly, right? If your ticket size are smaller, try both the platforms, Meta as well as Google, with let's say 50% of your budget, and see whether you are getting the right ROI. But if your ATVs are higher, your high ticket, if the cost is little higher of your product, then majorly focus on Google, because there I think because it's very simple, right? No brainer again. I think primarily people do a lot of research when there is a high ticket item. People do lot of very limited research when the ticket item, the cost is little lower, right? So it's more about instinct buying. Ki, okay, I'm seeing something
Impulsive
good,
buying, yeah.
impulse buying, right? That okay, if I'm seeing that okay, this is a t-shirt, this is a shoes, I like it, I'll go and I'll purchase it. I know that okay, the life of that particular apparel or is around 6 months or 1 year, it's okay. But let's say if I'm investing something in furniture, if I have to buy a sofa, I cannot, do that in impulse buying. I have to do that entire research. I have to look for my aesthetics. I have to look how my house is, what is the interior, right? What is the color and everything. So it requires that kind of a journey of that user. So if you're showing directly that, okay, go, there is an offer, buy, you will never see a good ROI coming from all these platforms, right? So you have to be with that journey. So simply again, summarizing everything, 0 to 1, put 60-70 of your budget on your performance channels, which is majorly your Google and Meta in current scenario for D2C. And depending upon the cost of that item, define your budget accordingly, right? If the budget cost is anything less than 5,000 or like in the range of around 2,000 or 3,000, put 50% both on Meta and Google and try out the ROIs of both, right?
Okay.
But if your budget is little higher, put more on Google and then use Facebook only for the retargeting part of the things.
Okay.
That is first thing. Second thing for me is put roughly 10 to 15% of your budget for the experiments. Experiment on any new channel, right? Now it can be your influencer, it can be your contextual platforms, maybe like there are a lot of platforms like Quora, Taboola, right? Like if you're talking about India and even international also, like these platforms are proven basically, where again it helps when you are for high ticket items, right? When they are doing some kind of a research, right? If you're
it
showing
builds,
those kind of a
Reddit as well.
yes, Reddit as well, right? So when you're showing those kind of a content on all these platform, it generally helps in triggering those kind of end conversions, right? And you never know, right, what platform can work for you, even influencer marketing, right? In that case, but I would not suggest go very big on all these things because these are not proven, right? When you're doing a 0 to 1 journey and you like your leadership, and let's say even if you are a part of leadership, right, you always look for one thing, that okay, if I invested even 10 rupees, what is my final outcome?
Exactly,
Right? So revenue is very important. You cannot just say that I bought clicks, I got installs.
Those are
No.
vanity metrics. They
Those
don't
are vanity metrics, right?
Yeah.
The final thing is what is the ROI, what is the revenue, and that only can come from the performance channels, right? Those are proven, and again, I think a playbook has already been written. You know how to run campaigns and everything. So
Yes.
invest over there. Put roughly 15-20% of your budget on the experiments, right? And every month do certain experiments on any channel which you think that has the right set of audience.
So, two questions that I have. The first question is, you mentioned that the VRs should focus more on bottom of the funnel,
Yes.
right? How so? When you have top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, those three stages, how much money should you put in bottom of the funnel?
Right. So bottom of the funnel, that is only like roughly around 60-70%, which is my Google and Facebook campaigns, right? This 10 to 15% or 15-20% more experimental can be a part of either bottom of the funnel or middle of the funnel, because when I'm talking about influencer, when I'm talking about all these contextual platform and all, they're generally supports in the middle of the funnel, right?
Okay.
Because it's a part of journey. It is coming in that user journey that okay, whether I need to consideration and all those things. Generally, it helps over there, right? And I'm not suggesting to do any kind of a top of the funnel if you're doing 0 to 1. Primarily in your initial phase of 0
So
to
no
1.
interest based targeting.
No interest, because it generally don't help you a lot. Rather than focus more on SEO. So put your roughly another 20-30% of your budget, right? Because
But
let's
that
say
will take time. Let's say a
हाँ,
minimum of
for
60
SEO,
months.
yes.
6
Minimum
to 8
of 3
months.
to 6 months. Start investing that thing in your SEO. Because once that flywheel will start, right, that will automatically boost your paid, right, and control your ROI, control your CACs, getting you better ROI, and then you will get better, more budget to spend on your paid campaigns.
Paid campaigns, yes.
Right? So
Exactly.
keep your SEO and ASO on day one, but having said that, don't rely completely on SEO and ASO, because things takes times when it is SEO and ASO. Minimum 3, maximum it can be more, right? But you have to invest that money from the day one itself, so that you can start seeing results coming after 3 months or 6 months from your SEO and ASO efforts, right?
Okay.
So net, and again, I think remaining 10-15% on the content creation. Again, I'm not saying to build a lot of content over there when you're doing 0 to 1. Lot of UGC content, like user generated content,
Exactly.
helps you a lot.
That was my second question.
Yes, helps you a lot with respect to your 0 to 1 journey. Like you literally won't believe that when I was like part of MPL, like doing the 0 to 1 for MPL US, we've literally asked users who were there on the platform to record their testimonial kind of a thing, that how do they feel, whether they are liking the app. And then in as a reward, we were giving them some kind of a deposit cash or bonus cash inside that, which they can use to play further, right? You won't believe the response. We got like more than 100 videos in just 7 days,
That's amazing.
right? Like
Yeah.
hundreds user generated content, which I'm still using even after 2.5 years. I'm still using like a few of them, because I think those are still very, very related to those users, that they're liking those videos, liking the content what is there in that video. So, and the cost was nothing, right? Even if I'm giving them, let's say, $1 deposit cash, right? So I've just invested, let's say, $100 and got 100 videos, right? And
That's
that
really
cost
good.
is
Yeah.
nothing.
So maybe like for just to educate my viewers, if correct me if this strategy would make sense or not.
Yeah.
So let's say that if you are selling low ticket or mid ticket, less than 3,000 rupees of the average order value products on your Shopify store.
Yeah.
Once you have, let's say, 1,000 or 2,000, 5,000 orders, maybe it would be a good idea to reach out to them via WhatsApp, SMS, or
Yes.
email, or any
Yes.
of those channels, and
Yes.
ask them
Yes.
that we'll give you a free product. In exchange, you just
Anything.
give
Yeah.
us a
Yeah.
user generated
Yes.
video.
Yes. Yes.
That would be a good
I would
approach.
suggest, don't even wait for 1,000 products, right?
Yeah.
Moment you're seeing that, okay, you are selling 10 products, I think if you're with your customer from day one itself, right, even without giving any reward, because I think this is the learning that I have with WakeFit, right? There, even that at that scale, weekly we used to call a lot of customers. I personally used to call a lot of customers to understand what is going on, right? And sometimes you never know the responses, right? Because sometimes they will say that I purchased this primarily because I like this, I like that, and you can use those insights basically to run or to improve your performance campaign, to use those kind of a keyword to understand what is their journey,
They were
right?
looking for something and they
Yes,
got
and they
this or something
stumbled
like
upon
that. Yeah.
something, and they are like, okay, this has helped me in solving something. The use cases, like you as a as a like you as a part of a product company might have some understanding that these are the USPs, but the user might be utilizing it in some other way, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You never know about those
So
things.
feedback is the
So
most
feedback
important
is very
thing.
important, and be it positive, negative, critical, I think you should be open, right? And I think so far in my journey, I think this is one learning that I have, that like to be empathetic about anything, right? To be your customer, to your to your team, to anyone, right? And have that kind of a understanding to understand from where they are coming, basically,
Exactly.
right?
Put yourself in their shoes.
Yes, put
Yeah.
yourself in their shoes. I think WakeFit co-founder Chaitanya, right? Basically, I was working very closely to him when I was in WakeFit, and I think this is one of the things that I learned from him, because he used to visit all the experience store and all these stores and personally talk to the customers, that and without giving the reference that he's a co-founder,
And
right?
people would actually
He's
give them
just
the genuine
like
feedback. Yeah.
recently also you are seeing, right, like Dipinder Goyal
Dipinder
doing
Goyal doing that. Yeah. Piyush
deliveries.
Agarwal. Yeah.
Piyush is going to the store like with all his leadership, right, for 1 month, to run the retail shops, right? So I think this is there now, right? For
Yeah.
any D2C business, if you're not with your customer, then it is very difficult, right? So you need to understand what they are going through, and they're very happy. Like in most of the cases, I've seen that even without giving the rewards, right, they're okay to give you some testimonials. Like India, it's quite easy to get those things, because you have you can reach out to the customer very easily with WhatsApp and with email and whatever, and they're more than happy to support your business in that sense if the product is good.
If you ask about the reviews part,
Hmm.
when you try to have an automated channel where,
Yeah.
let's say, you're just sending a generic message and
It-
asking for reviews, either the product is really good, only then they will review it, or B, they will make sure that the product was so bad that the whole world needs to know that.
True.
So yeah, that is one thing.
Yes.
And one other thing that I wanted to ask is, let's say that when you talked about influencer marketing, so would you go for, let's say, 100 micro influencers, or would you go for one big influencer
Again,
or a
I think
celebrity?
it's a journey, I would say. If you're doing 0 to 1, I would still suggest go with more micro influencers, because there you have then more control, right? Again, when you're looking for a one big celebrity, then it's a very high punt on that, right? That it's like all in or nothing, right?
Exactly.
So I would not suggest, if you're doing 0 to 1, to look for that big celebrity, because there is a stage where you will look for that kind of a brand awareness which celebrity can bring in, right? But when you're doing 0 to 1, even the micro influencers will work phenomenally, right? You will get all the positive outcomes from your influencer marketing, and I think this is even if you're in any confusion, right? If you're building your business and people are suggesting you that, influencer marketing is working and you should try, and if you have a confusion that, okay, what should I do? Mini, micro, or a big? I would suggest start from micro,
Mm-hmm.
right? Invest a little, as I mentioned, like that experimental budget that you have.
Hmm.
If and again, do that thorough check in the sense that what kind of an audience that they are,
Hmm.
having, or they are, creating content for, and if that is matching with the first party data or the data that you have with
Hmm.
respect to your TG, then just go with those micro influencers. Try out in different states. Vernacular works very well in terms of influencer marketing. Let's say if you are looking something in South, again South has some 6 7 languages. Try
Hmm.
out those micro influencers in those languages. Work on barter deals rather than paying something, like, because they are open. Like all the
Yeah.
micro influencers are open with the barter deals. Like if you are sharing the product, sending the product to them,
Hmm.
and just asking them that just to you create one video for me and then I will utilize it on my performance channels and everywhere, they're more than happy to do that thing, right?
Yeah.
So start from there, because then it will give you some understanding about the ROI and the funnel or the
Hmm.
channel, whether
Hmm.
it is
Hmm.
working or not. If you're seeing that there is positive coming out of it, then go little broader, saying going little on the mini part of it. After, let's say, cracking zero point 0.5 or 0.75 of that 0 to
Hmm.
1 journey, you might look for a little bit of your celebrity kind of a influencer. Again, I'm not saying very,
High
renowned
level celebrity.
celebrity,
Yeah.
but little bit who is, again, you can look for, let's say, generally, there is always this thing that this product is working in certain state or in certain city. So look for that. Like for example, let's say if your product is working quite well in the pockets of UP and Bihar,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Look for some Bhojpuri artist. It's okay, right? And
Okay.
the cost will also be not very high.
So, would you go for a Bhojpuri artist, let's say, who is renowned by anyone, or would you go for someone who is into that space? So, let's say that if you are selling health supplements,
Ah.
so would you go for any influencer who is into the health and
So generally, you
fitness?
will find a lot in the micro part of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Micro and mini, you will get all these intent based also. Like right now, mom influencers, right?
Hmm.
All these fitness influencers are there, right? You will find a lot over there, right? But in that also, someone will become a little more bigger, right?
Hmm.
And let's say the best part will come. Let's say if this person is also part of UP or Bihar, something
Hmm.
like that, right?
Hmm.
Then you can approach to that person, right? If you're
Okay.
getting that fitment, it's great, right? But again, if you have something very crazy product, right, and you
Hmm.
would just like to go very aggressive with that, right, then you can also go a little broader.
Okay.
Let's say if you know that this person is not following any kind of a proper health routine, or it's very much there out in the
Hmm.
PR also that this person is more into, let's say, never go to gym or something like that, and still you are asking this person to promote any kind of a health product, right? People
Hmm.
might not relate it because they are like, it is not going right.
Hmm.
So you need to do those checks, right, that okay, even with a bigger celebrity or a renowned celebrity, whether things are making sense with that celebrity or not. If it is good, go with that. Otherwise, micro mini, I think for your 0 to 1 journey is good enough.
I would say that it also really depends on who is your target customer
True.
and your brand positioning as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like there are brands who are just selling organic stuff for
Mm-hmm.
health.
Mm-hmm.
Now they sell all the way from jawar atta, which
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
thing,
millets and all. Yeah,
millets
yeah.
and all of those things,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they're too of some special kind of millets.
Right.
They sell honey, which has been tested by some other XYZ things
Right.
in
Right.
Germany, and they are trying to educate those people.
Right.
Now in those cases, I don't think it would make much sense to go with the bigger influencers or
Definitely.
something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but rather than let's say FitTuber or anyone who's into this health space specifically, and that is targeting
Yes.
the specific set of customers who
Yes.
actually
Yes.
actively go out there on YouTube and search for fitness related
Yes. And
stuff.
those
Yeah.
are your mini and micro. That is
Yes,
what I'm saying. I
exactly.
think stick to those.
Hmm.
Start with micro. Go very niche with respect to the intent of those wherever like industry you are in. And I think start your influencer campaigns with them. And that most of the time I've seen has delivered the good outcomes with respect to your campaigns.
So Sandesh, to wrap this up, let's wrap this up by rapid fire round. So the first question is, if you are given the opportunity to choose only one platform for lead generation,
Hmm.
which one would it be?
I think for me the no-brainer is Google,
Google
right?
Ads.
It has always helped, always performed, because it is search intent based,
Hmm.
right? So very limited chances of going wrong over there. It will only go wrong if you are not feeding the right keywords. But if you're feeding the right keywords, it will definitely give you the right outcome.
Okay, so question two, long form content or short form content?
Short form content. I can also elaborate on that. I
Mhm.
think right now this has become a trend, but I think as a performance marketer, you've always seen short form content, right? You have always tried 15 seconder, 30 seconder, or 60 seconder, not more than that. You've never run like a 2 minute video or a 3 minute video to convert. So I think like from where I have come or what I have seen in my journey, it has always worked. It has always helped, right? And now I think it has reached another scale with all the short form content that is coming into the market.
What are your thoughts on PR?
PR definitely helps you a lot, right?
Mhm.
But I would suggest it should be more organic
Mhm.
rather than you are looking for anything paid. So do your good work, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I would say that PR will definitely follow you in some or the other way, right? So don't go mad that you need to be very much focused monthly or doing something or that kind of a sort, but focus on delivering what you are building, right? I've seen PR can come also like from your user base as well, that people have started talking about, and what we generally say that
Mhm.
it's word of mouth. That also is a good PR according to me, right? So
No, but I'm just talking about the publications, news articles, magazines, and all of that stuff.
no, I think that is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? That if you're focusing on the delivering the right
Mhm.
thing, these guys will come automatically behind you, right? And rather than you going and talking about, and and sometimes
Mhm.
we also know, right? There is a paid PR and all those things.
Mhm.
I generally don't like those things, right?
Even I don't like.
Yeah.
I feel that if you have money to burn around and then saying
Yes.
that this is marketing expense without
Yes.
yielding any sort of ROI,
Right.
then go for it. Or else it's
Yes.
the
Yes.
last priority on your
Yes.
marketing list.
Focus on building good things, right?
Exactly.
And if you're doing the good things in the market, PR will follow you automatically,
I think
right?
PR only helps you when you want to get your brand known
Yeah,
to
I
the
think at
target
certain
audience.
stage, yeah, you might
Uh-huh.
need that kind of a push. I think by that time, I think, but you are in a stage that people, you have that kind of a contact that you can
Mhm.
reach out to these folks very easily. But let's say if you're doing 0 to 1, no one knows you, right?
Exactly.
And if you are looking for that kind of a good PR, right, it will be very difficult. Hence, I'm saying that don't be in that rat race that okay, people are seeing good outcome from the PRs and everything. Focus on delivering good things, right, and satisfy your customers, because you are there for building
Hmm.
something great for those people, right?
Okay.
If you're doing the right thing, I think PR will follow you.
So the next question is, which is the best channel for retention marketing? Email, SMS, or WhatsApp?
Trend has shifted to WhatsApp. That is what I have seen. Now it can be positive, negative. I don't know, because obviously I got little frustrated when I'm getting a lot of messages on my personal WhatsApp. But I think uh, it helps sometimes, because let's say if they're
Mhm.
reaching out to you, you never know about the new offers or something. So it gives you that kind of attention, right? Because generally SMSs or emails are little on a lower side with respect to the
Mhm.
attention seeking, right? But if I have to rate, for me, WhatsApp, SMS, and then email.
So Sandesh, the next question is memes or storytelling. Which one is the preferred choice of content for brands?
Right now, it's an amalgamation of both, right?
Mhm.
So people start, even we are doing a lot such kind of a video content creation,
Mhm.
where you start with a meme to catch that attention, right, and then deliver a message. But it should not be very weird that you are just stitching two very different things. So look
Mhm.
for a way that I think Zepto does it. I've seen that there is a biker riding, and then he's falling, and then just he's falling, then he's showing that Zepto offer, right? So that is very attention seeking, right?
Mhm. The
uh,
hook is really
Hook
strong.
is really strong, right? So I think the world where we are in, I think it's a mix of both. You cannot rely on one thing, so you have to
Mhm.
be on both the things.
So Sandesh, the last question for this podcast, which I have for you, is that if let's say you are a D2C founder,
Hmm.
what would you choose? Would you rather go with an agency or would you hire an in-house resource for your marketing needs?
Yes, I think I get this question a lot of time, right?
Mm.
See, my experience, right, of being in this industry, and how you can work with an agency or better in-house, I think is if you are doing, let's say, if you're a co-founder, right, and you
Mhm.
just started, right, uh, I would not suggest you to go or hire someone in-house, right?
Mm.
Problem, if you're looking, let's say if you're doing a 0 to 1, and let's say you're doing uh, revenue of, let's say, around 10 cr annually, or let's say even 20 cr annually, I
Mm.
think still you can work with an agency. The reason is very simple. If you're hiring someone in house,
Mm.
it will not be a senior person. it will not be a junior person, it will be someone in mid layer kind of a thing, a manager kind of a person or a assistant manager kind of a person. Now this person will work directly with you, right? And no matter like how much, because you as a co-founder has a lot of things to look into, and overseeing a lot of things, you cannot give a lot of support or a lot of understanding only for this marketing person, right? And this single person can also not do a lot of things. Like this person can, let's say, has some skills with respect to performance marketing or growth marketing, or he can create, let's say, some static or some video content with the help of AI and all that thing, but still he's not a professional, right?
Exactly.
So, and you as a co-founder always have some love for your brand, and you would like to see something in a definite format, right? And you cannot make any mistake over there when it is going out as a marketing, right? So there, I think if you're just hiring one or two person will not help, because you will have a limited budget and you will see that, okay, I can hire only one or two person and they can run everything. It will not going to happen, right? So rather have an agency, an extended partner. And I think uh, the mantra, right, to work with an agency also, because I was in an agency, and right now also, like for MPL US business, we are working with an agency, and before that also I worked with a lot of agency, is very simple, right? You have to be transparent with your agency, right? A
Exactly.
lot of time I have seen that people generally hold some data, hold some information. uh, uh, it can be like they don't want, or like it can be because of any reason, but if you're not very transparent with your agency partners, you will not see that kind of a growth coming in, right? So first and foremost thing that I have learned as a part, like when I was a part of agency, and whenever I've seen client transparent, we have delivered results. And here also, when I am on the other side of the table now, where I am a client and I'm working with an agency, if I'm transparent, I've seen things change drastically, right? And this transparency also comes like the kind of relationship you are maintaining with the people, right? It should not be very transactional. It should not be like, okay, run this campaign, right? It should be more about informing them why you are running this campaign, right? Why this is important, right? When you deliver this information to these folks, obviously it will take some time, right? You have to invest, but this investment is much more better compared to hiring someone, and because you will not get that much time with that person. However, if you're investing this time with an agency, they can help you in running this performance marketing for more than a year or 2 year, like until you reach, let's say, 100 cr kind of a business,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So I think two things: build a good relationship, right? And second, be very transparent, and not very transactional, saying that, okay, just run this for me or execute this for me, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen outcomes coming with this kind of a relationship. But if you're more open to these folks and giving them the right understanding about the objectives, these folks will definitely help you.
Yeah. So just to add on to your thoughts and insights, I have also worked as an agency and as a client to multiple,
Right.
services providers, and I think the most important thing that every founder should be aware is that they don't have the time
Right.
or the knowledge to hire the right
Right,
resource
right.
at the right price.
Yes.
Second thing is, while hiring an employee, it comes with own set of headaches and things
Yes.
that they are supposed to
Yes.
take after,
Yes.
right? So instead of looking into that, when you have a problem statement, right, as a founder, I should be working on my product and
Right.
not managing the agency part,
Right,
right?
right.
I'm not supposed to go out there and tell them that this is what you are supposed to do.
True.
That's the agency's part.
Yes.
So a well structured KPI with set of goals and targets
Yes.
for each and every services is a mandatory thing. So if you are going for a SEO thing, let's have a media plan of the graph
Yeah.
of the organic users as well as the users who are actually making the purchase,
Right.
right? And that needs to be in line with the agency, so that they don't first oversell or undersell you, saying that, okay, this can be done, this can be
True.
done, and after,
Yeah,
let's say,
yeah.
3-4 months there is no results. So you need to be aware with that.
Yeah.
That could go with performance marketing as well. So
Yeah.
if they are committing a ROAS of, let's say,
Right.
3.5 or 4, that needs to be maintained across, and
Right.
it's not really your job on how is it that they
Yeah,
are
yeah.
taking care
True,
of
true.
that.
I think closing the plans are very important, as you mentioned, I think very rightly.
Yeah.
I think those are, anyways, I think I feel that we are in a era where I think agencies, if you're looking for some any good agency, they already have that playbook, right? That what I can pitch, what I can
Yeah.
deliver, right? So all, I think whenever you are discussing with any, and I think if these agencies, I think the point that you mentioned, not mentioning such things in your initial pitch, PPTs and in
Yeah.
initial pitch discussion, don't go with those agency, right?
Exactly. So there you should have some
Yes.
knowledge on what is it that you're doing,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that some knowledge is how do I make this
Yes.
profitable for my
Yes.
business? I need to
Yes.
know the exact KPIs
Yes.
for this business. In case of performance
Yes.
marketing, it is revenue
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
it's nothing. I don't
Track
care if you
those. Yes.
get how 100,000 likes
True.
on my
Doesn't matter.
Instagram page.
Yeah.
That those are vanity metrics.
Yes.
Revenue
Yes.
is the only metric, and
Yes.
I should be aware that this agency can commit on this specific
True.
KPI.
Yes.
So once you're clear on that, I think agency
Yeah.
is the correct option for
Yes.
most
Yes.
of the people.
Definitely. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that's it, Sandesh. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much to our audience for listening to this podcast. And yeah, it's really nice to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Poojan. I think I also enjoyed every bit of our conversation. I think it was very interesting to dive into all the topics about AI, about my journey, how Strike is helping, the data crunching part
Yeah.
and influencer marketing. So I think overall, people who are listening, I think will get a lot of insights about a holistical view of looking at performance marketing or a growth role. So yeah, thank you very much for
Yeah.
inviting me and making me a part of this.
Thank you so much. Yeah.